Gentleman's recognized for 3 minutes.
Thank you. Let me thank the ranking member for yielding the time. And Mr. Speaker, I rise in opposition to H.R. 185, the Regulatory Accountability Act of 2015, a bill that puts us all in danger by making it harder for federal regulators to do their jobs. This bill would delay regulations that prevent big banks from gambling with our economy. Just as seriously, it would weaken the implementation of laws such as the Endangered Species Act, the Clean Air Act, and the Clean Water Act that protect our environment, natural resources, and the public health of the American people. Supporters of this bill tell us that regulations impose huge costs and prevent economic growth. As other speakers have noted, these claims are not just untrue, they're fabrications. Choosing not to regulate polluting industries doesn't save taxpayers money. When we fail to prevent pollution, we impose more cost on the public, such as allowing unchecked emissions from coal-fired power plants, for example, would mean more mercury and smog polluting our air and water, causing respiratory ailments and premature deaths. To see what happens when a government chooses not to allow polluters to have their way, one need only to look at China. By burning coal without adequate air quality regulations, China caused an additional 670,000 deaths in 2012 alone. This, according to a recent study by the National Resources Defense Council. The failure to regulate is causing a massive drag at this time on the Chinese economy. The bill leads us down the same path. The Chinese model of economic growth at the expense of public health and the environment is not sustainable and does not represent American values. We have laws in the books today mandating environmental conservation and natural resource management through regulation. This bill does not repeal those laws, which have been a major benefit to the nation, to the American people since they were enacted. Today's bill just makes their implementation less efficient, more costly, more time-consuming to the very industries it is allegedly trying to help. If this bill were to become law, annual regulations needed to open a fishery or establish fishing industry catch levels would be endlessly delayed. If this bill were to pass, it would delay the Forest Service for the regulations needed to allow thinning projects and increase the potential for costly and deadly wildfires throughout the West. Each year, new fire seasons seems to break the record for financial cost and acre burn. This bill, if enacted, would make that cycle worse. The bill fails to appropriate any new money to the agency facing these unnecessary, burdensome requirements. Instead, the agencies like NOAA and the Department of Interior will be forced to divert existing resources to develop and implement the regulations needed to fulfill this new congressional mandate. The results, for example, permits for energy development on federal lands currently at an all-time high will be delayed, as will be permits for other activities.
Mr. Speaker, I'd like to yield Mr. Grijalva another minute.
Thank you.
Gentleman's recognized for an additional minute.
Thank you. This is not about making government more efficient. It's about making it impossible for many government agencies to do their jobs on behalf of the American people. In the name of regulatory reforms, Republicans are intentionally cutting off the people who oversee our lands and waters at their knees. Those who claim that this bill is a good idea ignore China's example at their own peril. Federal agencies trying to keep us safe cannot do more with less. Instead of placing more burdens on federal agencies, we should provide them with the resources they need to do their jobs better and protect the American people. For all these reasons, I urge opposition to H.R. 185, and I yield back.